Ramses Marsili. You can call him Mr. Marsili.
Or Ramses is
Or
fine,
Ramses,
either way.
okay.
Yeah.
And what's your title at the FIU library?
I am the reference librarian.
A reference librarian. So it's someone who's very good at information management and at finding sources that most of us wouldn't know how to find. Now, what he needs from you is information in terms of what you're trying to find. That's why I asked you to create that index of research questions and research topics, which he has been looking at, and we've been talking back and forth so that we can give you a sense of how to find sources using the FIU library. The difference between the FIU library and Google is that a lot of the good content, a lot of the good sources, you have to pay to access them, right? A lot of times on Google, you'll get to the final website and it says, okay, so start your subscription of $5.99 a month to get access to this journal. FIU is already paying for a lot of those subscriptions. So why not use those resources? Okay. And I wanted you to also come to the physical space of the library and start using all these tools that you have available to you throughout your college career and beyond your college career. Any questions so far about what we're doing today? So what I'm asking you to do today is we're going to do a research workshop, and I'm asking you to keep detailed notes of your research notes. So I created a template called Library Research Notes on Campus, and I'm asking you to open that template, save a copy for yourself. And all I'm asking you to turn in is one source that you found today through the library research. Let's say you leave here today, you don't find a source, it's still a source that you find through the FIU library website, and then turn in your notes in terms of how is the source relevant to your research, how are you going to use it.
Is there a preference like MLA, APA?
No, I think for the, we're hoping to write a research report that could be published in the Young Writing Scholars, what is it called, the journal? Young Scholars in Writing. I believe they use MLA or APA. That's why I put that there. But in terms of whether you want to use MLA or APA, I know some of you are, for example, writing about criminal psychologists. I would use APA because in psychology, they use APA. So it's up to you. Does that answer your question, Cameron? But I definitely think you should use a formatting or citation style that the journal will accept. Oh, and by the way, I have great news about that. I got in touch with the editor of the Young Scholars in Writing, Emily, and she's going to come to our class for a Zoom visit to talk to you about how to publish for the journal, what you should have in mind when you're writing for the journal and all that. So that should be really interesting. So Ramses, I think I told you at the top to maybe remind yourself of your research questions, your research topics, so that when you're doing research, you can use those keywords. But I'll let Ramses give you a general idea of how to do research and guide you through it. I'll be walking around the room. So if you have any questions or problems, I'll come by and try and help you out, okay?
All right. Good morning, everyone. So yes, I'm Ramses, one of the librarians here. And what I wanted to today is kind of take you through all the different resources and, you know, some of the features that the library has here for you. What I'm trying to get across, I guess, by the end of the class is that you would know how to find, you know, books, how to find journals, and then how to find within those journals or within the databases articles that, you know, you would need for your research. So we're gonna also learn how to build our research strategy, which sounds, you know, more difficult than it is. It really isn't. And then we'll talk about, you know, I'll show you guys a little bit about citation and, you know, just a lot of that. So if you have any questions at all throughout the class, please just raise your hand. You know, don't wait for, you know, a pause, or just raise your hand, let me know. I'm always happy to help. So if you have your own devices, please use those. If not, then you can use, you know, what we have here. If you open to any page, I mean, if you open a tab, I think it will automatically go to our homepage at library.fiu.edu. Now I want to make sure I see that I have 3 more I need to admit. Sorry. Yes, I am recording. And to those people on Zoom, please, I'm kind of walking around a little bit. If someone is trying to join and you see it, please let me know. I think everyone that is trying to join has joined. Okay, so I'll check periodically. All right, so let's go to our homepage, library.fiu.edu. The first thing I want to show you is that in order to have access, which you can have remote access from, outside of the university, the first thing you have to do is to log in for access. So let's all do that, especially if you are on your own devices. It used to be that you didn't have to log in from campus, but now you do. We're trying to change that. So as you can see here, we have both. We have two ways of logging in. We have this called Open Athens, and this is called Easy Proxy. We have to log into both. So please let's click on Open Athens first. And that is going to ask you for your regular FIU credentials, just username and password. Click on that. If by any chance, yes, log in for access. Right there. If you have already logged in on Canvas, chances are that you will not have to re-enter your
That's new, that wasn't there before, we just used the EP proxy, so now there's two.
yeah, there's two, and we're trying to move everything from Easy Proxy to Open Athens, but it's taking its own time. So once you get to the, go back to library.fiu.edu, the green link, click on that, and it'll take you back to the homepage. I know you might have to go through the whole 2FA, get your push notification. Okay, now, probably because you're already logged on Canvas, so it'll kind of. So now.
I'm just trying to let myself join.
Oh, I did. I think.
Oh, you did? Okay,
just-
perfect.
I
Thank
just
you.
clicked it, yep. Now, please click on it again, and now we have to do the Easy Proxy, and this is the part that we're trying to fix. But click on Easy Proxy, and this is going to be different.
Sorry, I have to mute myself.
Okay. And please click on Easy Proxy, log in here, and this is going to be different. This is going to ask you for the library, the number in the back of your Panther card, which is the same as your library card. Starts with 2119900. And then the password will be the month and day of your birthday in a 4-digit. Oops. No. Oh, 77. So yeah, our apologies, a bit of a longer to do. Okay, great. It's everyone on the Zoom okay? Can I get a thumbs up or something like that? Okay, getting some. All right. Yeah, no, that's fine. You're logged in. Once you've done both of those things, and it'll still say that. Once again, they're trying to fix that.
So now you can do that at the main library page and you should have access to everything.
Yes, you have now access to everything. Now, here's before we start with the research part, I want to show you this feature. And if you click here, you don't have to do it now. I just want to show you. In this Ask Us little widget, what it does is, well, it lets you search some FAQs, but it also, if you enter your name and info, you can start a chat with the librarian. So from Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to about 8 p.m. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, from 12 to 6, there's a librarian there that you can log in, remotely and ask any questions. So we're kind of going to cover a lot of information today. If you don't remember everything, you could always, just click in and say, hey, how do I find, this? How do I look for this? How do I cite? So anything having to do with research, citation, whether or not we're open, where are the copy machines, it doesn't matter. Any questions that you have about the library, you could always ask a librarian there, okay?
And it's amazing how well that works. I've used it so many times and they reply right away and they're really helpful.
Yep.
Even if I was trying to find a specific article and I couldn't find the full text online, I've used that and it told me, okay, use this link to access the full text.
Yep. So, okay, so on to how do we find our sources? So, we have a lot of different sources. We have books, we have journals, we have, within those journals, you can search for articles. We have databases, which are just collections of journals and newspapers and magazines. So let's just start out with, for example, how to find books. Now, when you open up the page, once you're logged in and everything, you'll see sort of the default setting is on discovery. This allows you to look for everything all at once, but it's not in a sort of organized manner. It's just kind of everything you find. So we usually recommend not to use that. I'll show you later on how to find everything by its own, form of resource. If you're looking for books, the best way to do it is to click here on catalog, and then on this main search box, you can search for either titles or subject or author, and then it'll give you a list of our books. So for example, I know some of you are looking into this, so I'm going to do a quick search for just criminology. Then I'm going to click on the search box and just to kind of show you what the results page looks like. I know for the most part, we'll be looking at articles, but I just wanted to show you. And here you can look at, resource type and then just click on books. And it'll show you the books that we have. By the way, it'll ask you to sign in again. You don't have to, you're already signed in. Once again, we're trying to fix that. It's just it was brought up on us on the weekend before classes started. So we're trying to play catch up a little bit here. So as you can see, we have books. A lot of them are available online and some of them are available here in the stacks. So most of the books are going to be on either the 5th, 6th, or 7th floor. We do have a few books on the 2nd floor over there by the advanced computers. Is this anyone's first time in the library?
So have you guys ever actually gotten a book out of the library?
Not yet. Okay, sure. That's fine. So just to give you sort of a bit of a review. So the 2nd floor is where our offices are. That's where the circulation is. Circulation desk right next to us. That is also where you pick up your if you had any interlibrary loan or if you just wanted to check out a book, that's where you would go. If you go a little bit further away where all those computers are, you'll see that there's another desk there where you can check out laptops and MacBooks. Have you guys done that yet? Like, if you don't have your own, we can check you out. Laptop, headphones, cables, chargers. There's quite a lot there. Both Macs and Dells, whichever you prefer. So that's the 2nd floor.
If you check out a laptop, can you keep it for the entire semester? Or is that something that you have to continue checking in?
I think we're doing a bit of both during, where everyone was sort of home. We were doing full semesters at a time. I think now we're going, back to 4 hours at a time, but in special, dispensation, we could do longer than that now.
Okay,
So
I know for my class guys, I always tell you to bring your laptop to class. If that's something that you need, you can go check out a laptop, and if they need permission from me or anything from me to let you keep it the whole semester, let me know. And I'm definitely more than happy to get in touch with them on that.
Okay, yep, definitely.
And the interlibrary loan, I think, is something really important for you to know. Even if the library doesn't have a specific book or an article, they will request it from another library and get it for you. I remember, I always tell them when I was doing my master's thesis on George Orwell's 1984, I remember one time I requested a book through interlibrary loan, and it actually came from the British Library in London.
Yep.
I picked it up at the FIU library in Pembroke Pines.
Yep.
And when I opened the book, it said property of the British Library, the National British Library. So that I was so impressed
Yep.
that they, even international loans.
Yes, no, we can get, yep, we can get
And
that.
if you
for
need a full text of an article, they'll actually request it, the scan, and they'll send it to you by email, the scanned PDF
Mhm.
of the article.
Correct, yep. So that is a valuable free service. So, well, everything here except for the copy machines is free, but we don't control that. All right, so, if you guys are looking for a quiet place to study, the 3rd, 6th, and 7th floors are quiet, areas. We have a lot of like little individual sort of little modules and some tables too, where you can, sit and relax and study. If you are looking for a group, study area, we're finally, I think next week, are going to open up the group study rooms. We had them closed due to COVID restrictions, but they're finally going to be able to open. So you can check those out. I believe it's 2 or 3 hours at a time. It may change a little bit. We may have to go in there and, disinfect after the group is used. It's going to be a little bit different. We're still working it out, but you'll be able to see a group study room link to check those out or reserve from our homepage in about a week or so. So thankfully, we're getting that open again.
So Ramses, can you show them how to find a book? Let's say they wanted to find, well, this one is available online anyway, but.
Yeah,
Will it be
so
available in a physical copy?
yes, so I'll show you both ways. So if it says available online, you can just click on that. And here under view online, it will eventually open it up. Okay, so it will eventually open it up and then you can read it. Sometimes it's in a, PDF format, like downloadable. Sometimes it's, you just be able to read it, online. Sometimes you can download, here we go. Sometimes you'll be able to download chapters at a time, but it is available remotely. Oh, here are some table of contents. So everything by chapter will be available. Each chapter is available in PDF form. So as of late, we've been trying to really, really ramp up and, purchasing electronic books. Now, if it is here, I see FIU, let me see this. So FIU Green Library General Collection. Now, if you click on that, it will show you the location. So this is the location number or the call number, HV6025. And what it means is this is a number that is given by the Library of Congress. You guys don't have to know that, but what it means is like that book has that same number in every library in the United States. So it's always kind of easier to find. And I know you guys have been, public library or, any other library and you have fun books. It sort of turns into a bit of a alphanumerical scavenger hunt. So first you find H, and then it'll be like HA, HA, HB, HC. You go all the way to HV, and then it'll be like HV1. Then you go HV all the way to 6,025. Eventually you'll find it. It's not that hard. And it does have a locate feature here, which I hate to say it, but it doesn't work yet. So it would tell you exactly where it is. However, that doesn't matter. If you look inside every elevator, pretty much all the desks everywhere, we have a list of where to find books by the call number. So next time you're in an elevator, just kind of take a look. There's a poster there, and it'll tell you, for example, A through H is going to be on the 7th floor. H through whatever in the 6th floor. What's on the 5th floor, that kind of thing. So we are.
One of the things that I enjoyed the most about that when I was a student is that a lot of times when I would go looking for a book, but then I ended up finding other books that were around there.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, this looks good, this looks good. So I would go for one book and ended up with 10.
Yeah.
in my bag when I
Yeah,
was
and then you
there.
find, yeah, everything will be by, by topic, by subject, together. So any questions on locating and searching for books?
Do you want to try the catalog really quick on, I think in your case, if you were trying to find stuff about the history of the community, like if you're doing lawyers and you want to find a book about the history of law, right, as a community, when were the first lawyers? What are the first records that we have of people acting as lawyers? What's the language that lawyers use? You might be able to find a book on that. So that's the kind of thinking that I want you to do. Be strategic in terms of, depending on the research question, what kind of source would be the best? Would it be a book, a journal article, a website? Where might you be able to find that information?
Mhm.
So that could be one of the sources that you include in your work in bibliography. Obviously, you're probably not going to read the whole book, but maybe you can use the introduction or one of the chapters in the book that talks about the historical growth of the law community in the United States or something like that.
So do you want to give them a couple of minutes to search?
Do you guys want a couple
something?
of minutes to search the catalog or a couple more?
We have other, because I was going to show them Credo Reference, which is a collection of encyclopedias.
Yeah, do
It
your
might
thing.
be,
Do your
okay. So the next thing that we have is, you can find journals. Now we have a lot of journals on the third floor, but we also have probably a bigger collection already of electronic journals. So if there's anything in particular that you're looking for, or you could also do a search by topic. So for example, one of the journals that we were talking about is, it's for English rhetoric, also Kairos, and you could just do a search for that.
So I check out Kairos. You might find some articles about the communities that you are.
Yes, so you can just, click here on the result, and it'll tell you like where we have it, and it just gives you a link. So from example here, we have it from 1996, all the issues to the present, and then you can read and find those issues individually. The only thing about searching searching by the e-journals is sometimes you will not be able to search through. You can't do like a keyword search or a subject search. You might just have to go through every issue and, find what you're looking for. Another way that you can use this feature that I'll show you is, and I'll go back all the way, is sometimes it will allow you to search by topic. So for example, I was talking to this gentleman here earlier, and he's doing his topic on, cars and cars enthusiasts. So for example, I could just, do cars or automotive. I tried it both ways. And if I click here, it'll give me not a magazine named Car, but if you scroll down, I'll find cars and parts, all cars, and granted, we don't have a whole lot on the subject, but that's a particular subject. But if, for example, if you're looking at old cars, which he expressed some interest in, then we have Old Cards Weekly, which we have all, from 2010 to 2018. You can just click on full text access, and we did it before, we were looking at it. Here we go. And then in this one, you could actually search. Not every database has this, but you could actually, do that. You can use this if you still want to sit in there. Also, before. Yeah, that needs to be closer. So that is another way that you can search, is by going directly by finding out that there's a particular journal that interesting for your your topic, your community of discourse, and then doing a search for that. So if you guys, yeah, I'll give you a minute or two to kind of search around and look around through there. See, that's good. Okay. Okay. And then we'll find, once we start looking at the databases, we'll be able to really narrow it down.
So maybe I need to use somewhere. Oh, no, baking.
Oh, baking.
So I will try and do a search in, what is it, Francis? But I will try to maybe go to,
We have a whole database. Yep.
like hospitality journals.
Yeah, and then I can, once we do the next step, I can show you how to do like an advanced search.
So let's see.
Yep. Look in the, I'll show you. Go to where it says, find. Yeah, agency list. Yeah, this here, or just click on that and then look for culinary.
Sometimes about the right to.
Good.
Oh, so you can click on that now.
And then we'll go into like how to split.
Oh, yeah, this, because I had on Tuesday, I had like the same thing with like the.
Oh,
And they showed me how to do this.
all right, so you.
So these are the keywords that you can use.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So read and,
Okay, so we'll move on. All right, so next, what I wanted to show you, let's all go back to our homepage.
So if you're finding articles, make sure that you're copying that information into your notes so that you can just like take a look at it later. So
Yep.
you can find it again.
So next, let's go back to our homepage, and I'm going to go all the way back. Yeah, just click on the FIU Libraries logo up on top. Okay, so let's start narrowing down everything now. I want everyone to please click on Research Start. And then pretty much everything we do now, we'll take it from there. Yep. Oh, okay. So let's go to Research Start, and I want to show you Credo Reference right here. Now, what Credo Reference is a collection of encyclopedias. So as Professor Lopez was saying before, if you want to get a good historical background of whatever, some of the communities, this might be a good place to start.
Also, if you're trying to figure out what kind of specialized language that the community uses, any books, journal articles will give you also a good sense of the lexis, right? The specialized language that this discourse community uses, the kind of language that people will need to get really good at to be able to participate in this community.
Yes. So, for example, if we're looking at, someone mentioned dermatology. So I'm just going to look here. And I'm going to click on search. And then as you see, two things happen. A, you have here from, you have your definitions, you have your articles, and then you'll see where each one of them is coming from, Cambridge Encyclopedia, the International Encyclopedia of Depression, the Royal Medicine Health Encyclopedia, and you'll see like how many words, and it kind of lets you know how much information there is. Like I probably wouldn't look into, this one, 21 words, but the other ones, okay, not many words, but the top two ones have, 1,300, and both of them 1,300. So there's bound to be some, that's the next. So the second thing that happens is this right here. They call it, Credo Reference calls it a mind map, but it's really just, it's a related concepts that you can look at, and it can sort of direct your research somewhere else, kind of, narrow it down. So for example, we're looking at a couple things here, and it doesn't look too, but right here we can see dermatopathology. So you can click on it, and then two things happen. A, it'll give you a brand new set of results and a brand new set of whatchamacallit, tags or related concepts. So that's also a good way to get your sort of your background, your historical. I mean, everything we're doing now, it's kind of, when you write a paper, doing research is sort of the same as writing a paper. You want to kind of, when you write a paper, you start with sort of a broad statement, you talk a little bit about the history or something, and then eventually you narrow it down to your thesis statement, and then you go from there. When you're doing research, it's kind of the same. You always want to start with a bit of, historical background, some broader, topics, and then eventually you narrow it down, which is what we're going to do.
That could be an approach. That could be one way to do it.
So you're looking for, is it pharmaceutical? Yeah, you can, search it there.
I searched this, like my question is, can I have everything on the report, or should I just focus on only one?
Think of what would be more manageable too. But because we're talking about communities, right? Discourse communities, and I think this map is giving him all the different sub-communities or specialized communities. It's like one big community of pharmacy, but then within pharmacy, you have all these other little groups.
But maybe something that you could use for as an example of the broadness of the community, or
Yeah, I mean, if you want your report to be about what a huge and diverse community pharmacy is, then it makes sense to be like, and I'm going to show you all the different communities that pharmacy has and how they use different language, right?
Yeah.
That could be one approach. But if your purpose is to show the practices of pharmacists only, then you focus on that only.
Yeah.
Depends on what you want to accomplish with your report. No? Does that make sense?
So let me show you a couple of things. I know we don't have too much time. I still want to move on, and you could always go back and research here.
Francis, can you walk us again to how to get to Credo?
Yes, you go to Research Start from the homepage, and then right there would be Credo reference. Now, let me show you a couple of things. Let's say I find this article fascinating and I want to read it. So you click on it. Here's your full article. And then there's a couple of things that you can do. If you click on share, you can email it to yourself. It will not be the full article. It'll be, the citation, but at least you'll know it'll be a lot easier to find. Once you have the citation, all you have to do is from our homepage, just leave it where, just leave it on, sorry. From a homepage, just leave it on discovery and then type the article name and it'll take you right to it.
Yeah.
Another thing that you can do, which is pretty neat, is that you can cite it. So here you're looking for either APA or MLA, and here's your citation. Now, before you go, you have to be careful because sometimes it will be not 100% correct. And but by what I mean is sometimes, for example, like the author's last name or the title will be in like all caps, which is wrong. In this case, I see for MLA, I believe it has to be a hanging indent. So, and here is not, indented correctly. So it's those little things, you don't want to get, points taken up at the very, end of your.
You want in this class, but in other classes you
Yeah. So make sure that, those little details are, correct. But other than that, as far as, the way it's supposed to be, this is correct.
But I want you to understand why it's so important to save that citation, because later, let's say you save the URL from the FIU library website. You go home and you're not logged into the library, or you're trying to find it some other way, that URL is not gonna work for you. But if you go to the FIU library and type in the citation information, the name of the article, the name of the author, then you can find it very easily. So it's basically just having the full address so that you can continue to find it when you need to find it.
Correct. Okay, so you guys can leave it there, or please write it down, write down all this little, breadcrumb trails to all our different, databases, because we're going to move on. And I clicked on the back button, and right there where CREDA references, if you scroll down, you can look at either Academic Search Complete or Proquest. And what these two are very broad, multidisciplinary databases that you can find a lot of information. Eventually, we will go into a little bit more of, discipline specific databases, but here is where I want to show you how to build a research strategy using your Boolean characters. Now, Boolean characters is what we call these in this drop-down menu: and, or, and not. And what they do is they kind of help you either broaden or narrow your search. Now, the reason.
I want you to pay attention to this. This is really important.
Yeah.
If you learn nothing else today, this is something that you learn.
And if instead of Academic Search Complete, you clicked on Proquest, it's going to look a little bit different, but everything is going to work the same. Let me show you. Proquest is exactly the same, only it's green. Oh, and also it's drawn from different databases and different articles, so you will get different results. But either way, when the same way that you search in one works on the other. Okay, now the reason it's broken up like this, where you can see that, is because when you search here, it's sort of the opposite of Google. Google lets you write like a whole entire sentence. Sometimes it doesn't have to make sense, and somehow it figures it out. Here's a little bit different. Here, the whole research strategy, what it means is you take your topic and then you use the main key components, just your main concepts, and you use those as your search terms. Okay, so it's really that easy. So for example, let's say I'm doing research on stress in undergraduate students during midterms. Okay, what are my key concepts? don't have that. Midterms, stress, anybody else? One more? Undergraduate students. So that's it. It's really that simple, okay? So I know there is someone, I wrote down some of your communities and someone was looking at, I don't know if it's on, that it's on over on Zoom or here in the class, but someone was looking at the effect of like psychologists in prison inmates, okay? So it really becomes that easy, you know? I'm gonna do psychologists. And the cool thing about this database, which Proquest doesn't have, but you see how it gives you this here, this other, you know, psychologists or counselors or therapists. That's because the way this Boolean characters work is you want to add as many ors as you can, because what could happen is there could be an article there that instead of using psychologist, they use therapist or they use counselor. They didn't mention psychologist, and you can miss out on that. Okay, so whatever it is that you're looking for, think of as many ways as you can. You know, so for example, undergraduate students, you could also say, or college students, or university students, or underclassmen, or upper class, you know, anything that has to do with that. You can think of that, you know, cars or automobiles or, you know, all of that. And here it kind of helps you. So psychologists, and then we can do prison, as you can see, or jail, or incarceration, or, and if you're using Proquest instead of this, you have to come up with those yourself, which is fine. You guys are creative, you know, but remember, always do that, okay? I'm gonna click on search. And I get my results. Now, under the results, as you can see, you can tell where they come from. We have academic journals, we have magazines, we have newspapers. So whatever it is, whatever source it is that you're looking for, then you can click on that and that's where it comes from, okay? Yeah, essentially this is another way that you find newspapers and magazines. Academic Search Complete has a lot of that. Okay, so if you're looking for news.
Even in other languages, articles that they have in other languages, and things like
Yes, there are some, and you could, you can also, everything is on the left panel, we'll be able to. And if you don't want anything from 1915, then you can, I'm just gonna click and drag, and let's say I just want to do the last 10 years, or from 2010, and then it kind of updates itself. So of course, you're gonna get less results, but you can still see where like you got 90 newspaper articles, 154 magazine articles. Yeah, and then you have some videos. You have 49 different videos. So all of this could be, very valuable sources. Okay. Now,
try it on your own topics.
yeah, let's do that.
Say as you're explaining it. And just think about whether you want to use and or, because if you use and, you narrow the results. If you use or, you get more results.
You get more results. So yeah, by using as many ors as possible, it kind of evens it out. But remember, the independent concepts that get separated by and then all the concepts that are the same.
Are you finding stuff?
Oh.
Fine.
Okay.
Well, I understand what this is.
All right.
All this one.
Yes,
Yeah. This is one exactly. this one open again, because it's like, no, it's not. It's good. It's like, about things, how to.
Anything particular about the right?
Good pages, like, good pages, like,
Okay. Minutes. Minutes.
yeah. No, yeah,
I wouldn't say the word, so the less you put, the more better the chance. Writing skills or.
So that's pretty much what I'm talking about, so I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what factors.
No.
It may, or what they should include that
Yeah.
are critical.
I think that's
Actual way to
get more
I
results.
found that.
Go through those.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I was saying that.
Yeah.
Part.
So the less is better.
Take it to a breath, take it back, take it to a serve, and, something else. Well, and like the position of being there's critical and the resume. So I think but for now, I think I'm gonna for the we're gonna use this week, I think I'm gonna use
Think of how you can use it for your project.
Socially.
It's a signing, it's just signing with like it's about.
Oh.
It's so.
Did you, when we first signed on, did you both open up and did you?
I can look at it here, I just wanted to maybe download it.
Oh, yeah, it might not be downloaded.
No?
Yeah, some of them probably not downloaded. Okay, now for something a little bit different. Where am I? Oh, by the way, there's someone whom I looked at their blogs and they're doing digital humanities. Is there someone on chat? I mean, on
Yeah, that's
Zoom
me.
or-
That's
Okay,
me.
all right. So here's something that you can do because I looked for this. And if you go to our LibGuides, okay, so from our homepage, do this with me.
Yeah.
Go to use and then, sorry, not use, go to find. Go here
Yeah.
to find and click on LibGuides. And here, click on digital humanities. I mean, type. And we actually have a library guide, a LibGuide. So click on here.
Yeah.
And we have an entire guide since we have, a pretty good digital humanities department here. And here you can get a lot of information as background for your community. So what is digital scholarship? You have online tools and resources. You have projects. There's some literature here. You have organizations. So these are professional organizations, local and national. So I thought you could find
Yeah.
it.
Nice. Thank you.
You got it. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this tab because it's, oh my God. So you're good? You good to go?
Yeah.
All right, good. Now, for something a little new, but not new, now that I've shown you guys how to approach this from a very specific point of view, as far as, finding in different, like specific databases, let's go. If everyone could please go to Google Scholar, so that is scholar.google.com. And please do not let this be your, like, default forever. You have to search in the databases. You can find more, you'll realize that it becomes in time easier. However, a lot of what you're looking for can be found in different databases. So I kind of want to show you how to use a particular feature in Google Scholar. Okay, when you're here, all right, everyone do this with me at the same time. Does everyone on Zoom have Google Scholar up? I'll give you a second. So go to scholar.google.com and click on the menu bar. And then click on settings. Then click on library links. And here, do a search for Florida International University. Now, what we have done, so what we have done is we have linked Google Scholar with our databases. That way, a lot of the things that you find in Google Scholar are behind a paywall, so they make you pay sometimes an exorbitant amount of money for that. But since you guys paid your activity fees, and we use those to buy our databases, we've been able to link them together. So once you get all of those results, click on every one of those boxes and then click save. There should be more. Even if you see 2 or 3, just do a full search for Florida International University. Yeah, go to.
It's just to make sure that then Google Scholar, the browser is connected to whatever account you have, so
And
that
then
you don't pay for it.
search for Florida International University. See if you can come up. That should be right. Even if yours might have a few, just do the search again. Make sure you have all of those boxes. Yeah, that's it. So now, once you click on save, what happens is you can do, a more of a Google style search.
Which is what you're
Although-
more familiar with.
Yes,
It's more
but
familiar.
yeah. However, really, I don't want to sort of make you think that I just gave you a cheat code. It's just that in this case, some of your topics are so broad that would require you to go into like 4, 5, 6 different databases, and we just don't have, we don't have the time today to do all of that. So this can be helpful. So for example, I know someone is looking into speed running, which I never heard of, which is,
Me neither until now.
yeah, I guess, just getting through video games as fast as you can without using any cheat codes. So I'm going to do, if I'm looking at a databases, I would have to look in like 6 or 7 different databases. I'll be looking at like sociology. I'll be looking in, all these different topics. So when I do it through here, it kind of, helps out a little bit. So I'm going to do one for speed running, for example. And as you can see, some of these results will say full text at fiu.edu. While before you had to pay a ton of money for these, now, hey, when you click on it, for example, validity of, no, okay, no, this is not.
I guess it's another speed run.
Yes. Oops. Wait, what you do? Yeah, speed running video game. Okay, yeah. Let's see, speed running video game is great. All right, so the complexity of, speed running video games, just here, it might be available, but, yes. So here, for example, and this could also help for, there was someone who's looking into a community of people who build PCs. I was able to find something here. I don't know if you're here or on the Zoom, but when I was trying to go through the databases, I had to go through like 3 or 4 different ones in computer science and engineering, but here it's kind of all together. So it kind of makes sense. So for example, I'm going to click on full text at FIU, and since we've already been logged in, it'll take you back to right here. You can see full text availability. Just find for where it says full text availability, and you click on it, and here it is. Now, sometimes it might just show you the abstract, but see, here is everything, but always kind of look for the PDF sign. And right then you can download it. Okay, once again, this feature is available in pretty much every article that you can search. You could just right here, download citation, and it'll give you your citation. Okay, you always, RIS format is good to have. Okay, or to cite this article, boom, copy and paste, and you're good to go. Okay. Is everyone clear on that?
Any questions so far? Anyone?
Okay, another thing that I wanted to show you was for those of you whose community is, is a profession, if you're looking for lawyers, dermatologists, a lot of that, you could always, for your background information, please go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics from, the Department of Labor. Okay, so if you guys want to take a quick second, and it is bls.gov/OOH/ Yes, or actually, yeah, Bureau of Labor Statistics Occupational Outlook Handbook, because it's kind of a really complex site. So Occupational Outlook Handbook, and then here you can start, with more of
Someone's doing fishing. Farming, fishing, or
okay, someone's doing fishing.
yeah.
I like fishing. So you can click on that, and then it'll show you fishing and hunting workers, for example. And then you get to the actual occupational handbook, and it gives you, well, in this case, it doesn't have it, but typical entry education, number of jobs outlooks, and then you can go into each one of these tabs and then really get, details. What do they do? This is all the, the summary on, fishing boat captains, work environment, how to become one, pay. You have your pay, you have your job outlook, whether or not it's supposed to go, up and down. So there's projected to grow 11%. So this is a lot of, just very important and very valid, it's coming from the Department of Labor. So if your community has to do with, a specific occupation, so I'm thinking, yeah, fisheries, dermatology, baker, anything like that, then you can take advantage of this resource. One thing I wanted to do, else, before leaving you a little bit of time to search for yourself, is tell you that some of the research that you'll do will be on the open web, right? And you just have to be really, really careful. The stuff that we've been looking at up until now is, for the most part, peer-reviewed, or belongs in one of the databases, which means it's been already validated for, making sure that there's no bias, making sure that the methods that were used, were correct in extracting the answer. It's a really quite a long process, and that's why, it costs money to put it up there, because it has to go through a very rigorous process. Now, what you find online on like, the open web blogs does not go through that kind of, vetting. So you have to do the vetting yourself. And the best way that you can do that is by following what we call the CRAP method. Lovely acronym. So CRAP stands for currency, relevancy, authority, accuracy, and purpose. And this is sort of a checklist that you have to follow. You have to honestly follow, to see if there's a good source or not. So currency, of course, the timeliness of the information. If you're working talking about something that, sort of moves and everything's changing all the time, that is relevant to you. If you're not, if you're looking, for example, something else, then it's maybe not that important. Relevancy is of importance information for your needs. That one is completely up to you. Can I use this? Do I not use this? Authority, what authority means is the author. It's not like I am a person of, authority in this case is an author, an expert in the field. You don't want to read, I don't know, an article about deep sea diving from an architect. Get it from a deep sea diver. And a lot of the good websites will have an author in it, and sometimes maybe a short bio. And if it doesn't, you could just Google the author, okay, and see what they do. Accuracy, you can always do that by cross-referencing with other articles, okay? And the main one, I think, at least in my opinion, might not be, but is purpose. The reason this information exists. Why is it, are they trying to push something? Is there a bias? Are they trying to push their opinion? And I don't mean that, that is either good or bad. It just means that there's an underlying reason for it. And some websites will tell you exactly, like if you look at the About Us page, it'll tell you, we are here to, put forth this type of ideas. And it doesn't make it necessarily bad. It just means, you should sort of look with, like if you look at like the Heritage Foundation, and they'll tell you, the Heritage Foundation was found to promote, conservative ideas. That's neither good or bad, but that's just for you to know that there's a different purpose. It's not just, it doesn't just exist for the sake of existing. And I don't, whether it's politics, whether it's, forestry, whatever it is, always look for a purpose. And remember, it's, neither good nor bad. It's just, are they absolutely neutral? Okay. Now, there's a few things. I have this, and some of you guys may have already seen this, but it's kind of an easy one to look at. And let's kind of go through this page and tell me if it is legitimate or not. So there's a few things that you should notice, right? Have you guys ever seen this site? Okay. So welcome to the website for the Hydrogen Monoxide Research Division, currently located in Newark, Delaware. The controversy, I'm not British, surrounding dihydrogen monoxide has ever been more widely debated, and the goal of this site is to provide an unbiased data clearinghouse and a forum for public discussion. Okay, so we have DHMO and cancer. We have all of these things. Now, what are a few things that should jump out at you? Legitimate websites normally don't have a right off the bat, give us money. They also, especially if dealing with something as delicate as cancer, they don't have the flashy skull and bones. There's a lot of things. If you look, for example, if you follow this, it'll just take you to the same page. There's no About Us page. There's no author. There's a lot of things, even though you guys might not know what dihydrogen monoxide is, it already becomes a bit, suspicious, okay? Editorial truth about the HMO, and if you see there's a lot of information, ban dihydrogen monoxide, the invisible killer, but there is no one is telling you what they represent, if there's any like a bigger entity that's behind it, if anyone has a medical degree or blah 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 degree. It's garbage. All right, so please look at all of that. And there's a lot of institutions and associations that we know about, but once you start looking at this critically and following the CRAP method, then it doesn't fly. Does anyone know what the hydrogen monoxide really is and why it's deadly and it's everywhere and all that? Okay, so yeah, if you break it down, so di, right, means two, hydrogen is, so it's H2O.
Oh,
And so,
okay.
so of course it gives you, and of course it's in the, it's in the dairy industry because, well, it's water. Yeah, simulated DHMO tainted cow. So it's more of a joke than anything, but it's actually a good way to, once you start really applying the CRAP concept, then a lot of the regular websites that you look at just sort of disappear. You're like, okay, especially looking for purpose. Purpose is, especially kind of the climate that we live in now. Purpose and authority should be the two main ones. Who wrote this and what qualifications they have for it and why are they writing it? And then, you could apply that to the news, to anything. And, so what I wanted to do, we have like maybe 10 minutes left. Actually, 5 minutes left, sorry. But if you guys have any questions at all that I can help you individually. So you guys, hopefully how to find books, how to find individual e-journals, how to use that Credo reference for encyclopedias, how you find academic search complete or Proquest. So within there, that's where our research strategy comes in, where you split everything. If not, then, there's Google Scholar. Please don't use it forever. It just works for this class. And then if you're looking on online for open web, how to apply your own set of criteria using the CRAP test. Any questions? Yeah.
From now on, at least for now, every time we go to the library website, we have to ask for my app.
Yeah. If you're already logged in to your Canvas, you don't have to do my app. But the other one, yeah, easy process. Did you find? Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So there should be something in there. But let's go.
Yeah, and who's asking every time after you set up your library, do I have to log in both ways? And that's a yes, right?
Yes, unless you've already logged into Canvas, in which case Open Athens will be automatic. But the easy proxy you do have to. But I think it lets you remember it for 7 days at a time, so it's like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Zoom, any questions?
So if you want to use the time left, you have about 5 minutes left. Remember, the working bibliography is for this week. And I'm asking you to turn in the working bibliography with one source that you found today, right? Just one. You don't need to do more than one. And then by the end of the week, I'm asking you to turn in your blog entry, which is all about library research. Okay, so.
Hi, Zoom. Is everyone get everything? Any questions?
Any questions around anything?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for your help on the digital humanities thing.
Ah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I want to stop the recording.